Have you ever tried to translate a word like excited or awkward or maybe even fluffy into Italian? It's basically impossible because there's no neat one-word equivalent. And that's a two-way street. Some of the most high-frequency Italian words can't be directly translated into English. They can only be explained. These words are the hallmark of a true native speaker and the window into a totally different mindset. English-speaking learners are always fascinated by these untranslatables, but mastering them on your own can be a bit tricky. So let me share the 5 expressions that our students ask about the most and help you add them to your Italian toolkit. Allora. This is one of the most flexible words in Italian. Depending on context, it can mean so, well, then, at that point, or simply function as a filler while the speaker organizes their thoughts. It's not just a verbal throat cleaner. It can introduce a conclusion, mark a transition, resume a conversation, prompt someone to continue, or buy time. Allora, when and how do we use it? For example, to start speaking or gather your thoughts. Allora, vediamo. So, let's see. To introduce an explanation or a conclusion. Allora, il problema è. Now, the problem is to move a story forward. Allora, a un certo punto, Marco se ne va. Then, at a certain point, Marco goes away. You can also use it to signal a decision. Allora, prendo il gelato. Right then, I'll have the gelato. We can also use it to check what happens next or prompt an action. Allora, depending on the tone, it can mean, so? Well, what now? Are you going to tell me? Allora can be a filler, but it's also a real structural word in conversation. Italians use it constantly because it helps connect thoughts and manage interaction. And the most universal meaning is, here's what comes next. Magari. Magari is wonderfully rich and can mean different things depending on context. If only, I wish, hopefully, let's hope so. Maybe, perhaps, and in some contexts, by all means, depending on structure. So it's not just a dreamy, hopeful word, it has a much broader meaning. So here's how we use it. To express a wish. Magari potessi vivere in Italia. If only I could live in Italy. We can also use it as a hopeful response. Pensi che andrai in Italia quest'anno? Magari. Do you think you'll go to Italy this year? I hope so. It can also mean, perhaps, magari non piove più. Maybe it's not raining anymore. You can also use it to agree to something very enthusiastically. Vieni con noi in Toscana? Magari. Absolutely, I'd love to come with you to Tuscany. Magari. And remember, on its own, magari expresses strong desire, not neutral uncertainty. And it usually feels much more emotional than the plain maybe. Boh. This one is basically the most Italian way to say, I don't know, or who knows, or even who cares. Your tone does the work. For example, dov'è Marco? Boh, no idea. Perché il treno è in ritardo? Boh, who knows. Perché è Trenitalia? Che facciamo stasera? What are we going to do tonight? Boh, vediamo. I don't know, we'll see. Boh is super common, but it's extremely informal. It's not something you'd use in writing or even in speaking with someone you don't know very well. And yes, it pairs perfectly with a shrug. Try it. Boh. If boh is what Italians say when they have no idea, addirittura is what we say to highlight that something is more extreme than we expected. For example, ho mangiato addirittura 2 gelati. I actually or even ate 2 gelatos, that many. Lui parla addirittura il dialetto siciliano. He even speaks the Sicilian dialect. That's surprising somehow. That's why we use addirittura. That's unexpected, beyond expectations. You can also use it just by itself as a surprised reaction to something. Addirittura. No way. Is that really the extent of it? Addirittura. Go ahead and try it. Addirittura. Ti voglio bene. It's an important one, and it might save you some embarrassment. So, ti voglio bene is a very, very Italian way to say that I care about you, but I don't love you romantically. And now you see why it can get you in real trouble. So in English, we say I love you for everyone. We say it to family, we say it to friends, we say it to our significant other. You can say mamma, ti voglio bene to your mom. Or you can say ti voglio tanto bene to a friend. Literally, it means that I want good things for you. I want the best for you. It's love and care in a very unromantic way. If you're in love with someone, you'd say ti amo. But ti amo is much more powerful than the English I love you. It's more charged. Now, you could also use ti voglio bene to say that you're not in love with someone, you care about them. Now, something tells me this might have been invented by men just to avoid saying ti amo. Now, you see what I mean when I say the untranslatables are a direct window into the Italian mindset. Language is a mirror of how its speakers see the world and how they think. Now, make sure that you learn these 5 untranslatables and give them a real spot in your vocabulary notebook. They don't just make you sound natural. They are the difference between being an Italian learner, an aspiring Italian speaker, and an actual Italian speaker and thinker. Allora, as you grow your vocabulary, there's one thing you have to watch out for. False friends. Words that look similar to English words, but mean something totally different in Italian. I made a video on the most common and most embarrassing false friends, so you too can avoid these awkward moments. So click on the video and magari I'll see you there. A presto.